Chairman ng National Historic Commission. Ang agenda natin ngayon ay para pag-usapan at depensahan ang kanya-kanyang panig kung sino ang mas mahusay na Pangulo. Maaari na kayong magpakilala isa-isa.
Good morning guys. I'm Professor Bautista from University of Cambridge.
Ako si Professor Yumol. Narito ako upang ipaglaban na si Ramon Magsaysay ang pinakamagaling na presidente sa Pilipinas.
Good morning everyone. I'm Professor Hubert A. Rosenda and I'm here to represent and defend Carlos P. Garcia as one of the best president of the Philippines.
Ako si Professor Nathaniel Blo at nagsasabi na ang dating Pangulong Manuel Rojas ang isa sa pinakamagagaling na presidente ng ating bansa.
Good morning, my name is Dr. Macapagal from Wharton University and I'm Professor of Natural History and Archaeology.
Unahin natin ang taga-representa ni Manuel Rojas.
It was the destiny of Manuel Rojas to govern during the most difficult era of our country's history. Considering the extreme brevity of the time fate was to allot to him, no other ruler without his talent and industry could have achieved as much as he. He worked with such intensity that it seemed that every day was to be his last.
President Manuel A. Rojas, my lolo, was honored with these words by national hero Don Claro M. Recto. President Rojas was in Clark in Pampanga, giving a morale boost to the soldiers there when he died suddenly. No one noticed anything was wrong with him until the massive heart attack came. Indeed, it's a true measure of the man that he never allowed anything or anyone to come between him and his work for his people. President Rojas' guiding philosophy all throughout his life was always country above self.
On December 8, 1941, the Japanese forces attacked Pearl Harbor. On the same day, the Philippines was also bombed. It was a day of infamy and the beginning of 3 oppressive years of Japanese occupation in the Philippines. It was also the beginning of a very important and decisive chapter in the public career of Manuel Rojas. Rojas was assigned as MacArthur's aide and liaison officer between the USAFE and the Commonwealth government. He was responsible for sourcing food supplies from Capiz for some 120,000 soldiers under siege in Corregidor and Bataan. When a full Japanese invasion was evident, Quezon and his cabinet asked Rojas to join them in exile to America. Rojas declined, reasoning it was his duty to remain behind the embattled soldiers and the Filipino people. President Quezon thus conferred on Rojas the presidential powers of government in his and Vice President Osmeña's absence. After Quezon and Osmeña left, Rojas toured Mindanao and Visayas to help boost the morale of the people. Despite the grave danger to his life, Rojas refused all opportunities for him to be evacuated to Australia. Finally, he was captured and immediately brought to the imperial headquarters in Davao under Colonel Nobuhiko Jimbo, Chief of Staff of the Japanese Mindanao Command. He was sentenced to death by the Japanese High Command. However, Colonel Jimbo admired Rojas so much that he did everything to save him from execution. Brought back to Manila under house arrest, he continued to reject collaboration with the Japanese and started to work with the guerrilla movement. He became its titular head and operationally headed its Manila Intelligence Group. The liberation of the Philippines under General MacArthur started in February 3, 1945. At the height of the siege of Baguio, Roxas was able to escape from his Japanese guards. He walked for 3 days in the mountains and finally found his way back to Manila to meet MacArthur. After the war, Vice President Osmeña came home to replace Quezon, who had died in the U.S. When Congress reopened, Roxas was voted overwhelmingly as Senate President. On April 1946, the elections for President of the Republic was held. Manuel Roxas defeated Sergio Osmeña. Roxas was proclaimed the last President of the Commonwealth on May 28, 1946. Immediately, Roxas wasted no time to rebuild the country amid the ruins and ravages of war.
For the rehabilitation of our economic life and for the repayment of war damages will not, in themselves, produce an immediate reconstruction of our economy. Meanwhile, the needs of the Philippine people are immediate. We must have food. We must have funds with which to finance the activities of government, to provide for the restoration of law and order, the encouragement of production, and the beginning of a program of social reform.
He helped feed the many poor people affected by the war. He reorganized the bureaucracy, established the central bank and the Rehabilitation Finance Corporation to hasten normalization, and built new schools for children left idle during the war. He worked long hours to streamline government operations to serve the poor first, enlisted the help of wealthier people towards faster rehabilitation, and negotiated foreign treaties and various forms of support from other friendly countries.
Dahil sa katatapos nga lang ng World War II at ang kalagayan ng bansa ay bagsak na bagsak, ay nag-offer ang US Congress ng $800 million upang makabangon muli at maiangat ang ekonomiya ng bansa. Dahil sa pangailangan ng ating Pangulo ng malaking pondo para sa mga infrastrukturang nawasak, ito ay kanyang pinirmahan, ang Belt Trade Act. Ngunit ang kapalit nito ay ang kapangyarihan ng mga dayuhang Amerikano na kumuha ng ating mga likas na yaman mula sa ating bansa. At dahil doon, ay muli nakabangon ang bansa at naibalik na din sa dati ang mga infrastrukturang nasira. Subalit, makalipas lamang ng ilang panahon, isa sa mga huling pinatupad ng dating Pangulong Roxas ay ang Party Amendment. Ano ang Party Amendment? Ito ay nasa ilalim ng Belt Trade Act. Ito ay nagbibigay ng ekwalidad sa mga Amerikano at sa mga Pilipino tungkol sa mga resources sa ating bansa.
Sunod naman ang taga-representante ng Pidio Quirino.
Okay. I'm the representative of Elpidio Quirino. Elpidio Quirino is the 6th President of the Philippines, and I will show you guys a short video clip to show you guys how great he is.
question.
Sunod naman ang taga-representante.
Pinirmahan naman ni Magsaysay ang Bell Trade Act of 1946 na kabaliktaran ng Bell Trade Act ni Manuel Rojas. Nasasaad sa batas na ito na tatanggalan ang karapatan ng United States upang makontrol ang mga resources at peso exchange ng Pilipinas. Pinirmahan niya din ang Republic Act number 1160 of 1954 na nasasaad na ang mga rebelde at mga taong walang lupa ay bibigyan niya ng mga bahay at mga lupa na pwedeng pagsakahan nila.
Ang taga-representa naman ni Carlos Garcia.
Carlos Polistico Garcia. He was born November 4, 1896, and he died because of heart attack in June 14, 1971. President Garcia has many programs. First is the Filipino First policy. President Garcia exercised the Filipino First policy, for which he was known. This policy heavily favored Filipino businessmen over foreign investors. He was also responsible for changes in regional trade, which greatly affected the Chinese businessmen in the country. During his administration, the exchange rate was $1 is equal to 2 pesos. Next, austerity program. In the face of the trying conditions of the Philippines, President Garcia initiated what has been called the austerity program. He affirmed the need for complete economic freedom and added that the government no longer would tolerate the dominance of foreign interests, especially American, in the national economy. He promised to shake off the yoke of alien domination in business trade, commerce, and industry. The main points of the austerity program were: the government would tighten up its control to prevent abuses in the overshipment of exports, under license, and in underpricing as well. Second, there would be a more rigid enforcement of the existing regulations on bargaining treatment. Next, government imports themselves were to be restricted to essential items. The government also would reduce rice imports to a minimum. Next is an overhauling of the local transportation system would be attempted as to reduce the importation of gasoline and spare parts. The tax system would be revised so as to attain more equitable distribution of the payment burden and achieve more effective collection from those with ability to pay. And lastly, there would be an intensification of food production. Next is Bolen-Serrano Agreement. During his administration, he acted on Bolen-Serrano Agreement, which shortened the lease of the U.S. bases from 99 years to 25 years and made it renewable after every 5 years.
At ang huli namang taga-representa ni Diosdado Macapagal.
As we conduct a research on our university, we discovered 3 good things during Macapagal's administration. First is the establishment of IRRI, or International Rice Research Institute, where made the Philippines the #1 exporter of rice, and second is the claim of North Borneo as territory of the Philippines, and third is he seeks improvement for Filipino language. He assigns scholars and made the Filipino language more precise and accurate. Thank you.
At dito nagtatapos ang ating agenda. Maraming salamat sa dokumentaryong pinakita niyo. Magaling at mahusay ang representasyon ng bawat isa sa inyo.
So, base po sa pagsasaliksik namin nagawa, sino ang pinakamagaling na presidente?
Pinakamagaling ay
Hindi, si Macapagal yan.
Corino.
Macapagal. Macapagal yan.
silent. Ang pinakamagaling ay si
Once upon a time, a few weekends ago, I was in your queue for solo word duo. You found